pleasant day, everyone. My name is Guadalquiver, and for today's topic, we will be going to tackle about the Chapter 7, Laws Regulating Transportation Establishments in Legal Aspects in Tourism and Hospitality. And for the learning objectives, we have to identify the laws affecting the transportation sector, identify the rights of passengers of commercial transportation, and explain the relevance of these laws to the promotion of tourism in the country. So for the contents, we have laws on common carrier, nature of contract of carriage, responsibility of common carrier, liability of common carrier for the acts of employees and strangers, nature of airline, bus and shipping tickets, registration of aircrafts, seatbelt law, law on transportation of animals, law on importation of vehicles, public service law, and traffic laws. The Philippines is a promising tourist destination due to its hospitality and diverse attractions. However, promoting inbound tourism faces security and safety issues. With Filipinos being some of the best transportation professionals, this chapter will discuss laws affecting the transportation sector, crucial for tourism study. So to start off the discussion, first we have to discuss the law on common carrier. The Civil Code of the Philippines governs common carriers with rights and obligations governed by the Code of Commerce and special laws in non-regulated matters. Article 1732, common carriers are persons, corporations, firms or associations engaged in the business of carrying or transporting passengers or goods or both by land, water, or air for compensation, offering their services to the public. This article defines common carriers as businesses or individuals that transport people or goods for money. These carriers offer their services to the public using different means like land, water, or air. The article highlights the legal responsibilities and obligations common carriers have toward their passengers or the items they transport. In simple terms, it sets out the rules for those in the business of moving people or goods for payment. Next, we have nature of contract of carriage. A carrier contracts for passenger transportation differ from other contractual relationships due to the public-private relationship they establish. Neglect or malfeasance by employees can lead to damages. So when passengers buy tickets from a common carrier like an airline, they enter into a special type of contract. This contract is different from regular agreements because it involves a public-private relationship. If the carrier or its employees act negligently or unlawfully, and this leads to harm or damages to passengers, the carrier can be held legally responsible. This means that common carriers have a heightened duty of care towards their passenger compared to other businesses or individuals. Responsibility of common carrier. Article 1733, common carriers from the nature of their business and for reasons of public policy are bound to observe extraordinary diligence in the vigilance over the goods and for the safety of the passengers transported by them, according to all the circumstances of each case. So, for instance, the injured passenger could argue that the carrier failed to exercise extraordinary diligence in ensuring the safety of passengers, as the driver's reckless behavior demonstrates a lack of vigilance over passenger safety. Next is Article 1755. A common carrier is bound to carry the passengers safely as far as human care and foresight can provide, using the utmost diligence of very cautious persons with due regard for all the circumstances. So for example, the injured passenger could argue that the carrier breached its duty to transport passengers safely by employing a driver who did not exercise the utmost diligence expected of very cautious individuals. Next article is Article 1756. In case of death or of injuries to passengers, common carriers are presumed to have been at fault or to have acted negligently, unless they prove that they observe extraordinary diligence as prescribed in Articles 1733 and 1755. So, for example, the injured passenger would benefit from the presumption established in this article, placing the burden of proof on the carrier to demonstrate that they adhered to the extraordinary diligence standards outlined in Article 1733 and 1755. Article 1757. The responsibility of a common carrier for the safety to passengers, as required in Article 1733 and 1755, cannot be dispensed with or lessened by stipulation by the posting of notices, by statements on tickets, or otherwise. So let's move on to liabilities of common carriers for the acts of employees and strangers. Article 1759. Common carriers are liable for the death or injuries to passengers through the negligence or willful acts of the former's employees, although such employees may have acted beyond the scope of their authority or in violation of the orders of the common carriers. This liability of the common carriers does not cease upon proof that they exercise the diligence of a good father of a family in the selection and supervision of their employees. So, for example, aning a series bus. Other don't call it series bus anymore, but instead, killer bus. Tungod kay daghan na kayo nig records of casualties of death, pila na ka series bus na ka cause of injuries o death sa mga tao because of the driver's reckless driving. Whether those actions are negligent or intentional, ang mga passengers or ang family sa namatyan is naay rights nga i-hold ang bus company as accountable sa driver's reckless actions and seeks compensation for their injuries. So to continue, we have nature of airline, bus, and shipping tickets. The passage ticket is the best evidence of a carriage contract, as it is drafted by the carrier, and the other party's signature is the only participation. The Supreme Court interprets the term. So, an example of the nature of a contract of carriage can be found in the terms and condition of an airline tickets. These terms are usually prepared and drafted solely by the airline, with the passenger only required to affix their signature to the ticket. As a result, in case of any ambiguities or disputes, the Supreme Court has established that the terms of the ticket must be interpreted against the airline, as they are the party that drafted the contract. This ensures that the rights and interests of the passengers are protected. Regulation of the transportation business. So, the Department of Transportation and Communications, or DOTC, is the executive branch primary entity for policy, planning, programming, regulating, and administrative tasks related to transportation and communication system, as well as fast, safe, efficient, and reliable postal services. Regulation of air transportation business. The Philippine legislature established an office under the Department of Commerce and Communications in 1931 to enforce aviation regulations, including licensing, inspection, and enforcement of aviation laws. So next, we have registration of aircrafts. Only aircraft owned by or leased to a citizen or citizens of the Philippines and which are not registered under the laws of any foreign country may be eligible for registration. This regulation is designed to ensure that aircraft registered in the Philippines maintain a direct connection to Philippine citizens or entities and are not subject to conflicting regulations or jurisdictional issues arising from foreign registrations. So by limiting registration to Philippine-owned or leased aircraft, the law aims to promote accountability, compliance with local regulations, and safety standards within the country's aviation sector. Regulation of the shipping industry. So the Maritime Industry Authority or MARINA was established in 1974 to oversee the development, promotion, and regulation of the maritime industry in the Philippines. Later transferred to the Department of Transportation and Communications in 1979. So in essence, Marina operates as the central authority responsible for overseeing various aspects of the maritime industry, including vessel registration, safety standards, licensing, and the implementation of relevant regulations and policies. Its role is crucial in ensuring the efficient and safe operation of maritime activities within Philippine waters and in compliance with international maritime standards and conventions. So next we have the authority to operate. Marina only grants authorizations for domestic cargo or passenger carriage to domestic ship owners or operators, who must be Filipino citizens, commercial partnerships, or corporation with at least 60% Filipino capital. Foreign vessels can be granted a special permit if domestic vessels are unavailable or suitable for the required shipping service. So, let's move forward to seatbelt law. The seatbelt law was enacted to secure and safeguard its citizenry, particularly the passengers and drivers of private and public motor vehicles, from the ruinous and extremely injurious effects of vehicular accidents. In order to secure the safety of the passengers and drivers at all times, the mandatory enforcement of the use of seatbelt devices by the drivers and front seat passengers of private and public motor vehicles shall be enforced. Like the other countries, specifically US, na if masakpan ka nga wala ka seatbelt, naadjud kay fines or penalties. Maong sila didto mag-seatbelt, but adto sa ilaha they wear seatbelt to secure their safety, not because hadlok sila nga maka-fines or penalty, as well as wearing protective gear sad if magmotor sila. Unlike sa Philippines nga magwear sila og helmet because na ay dakop. Mo na may nila nga reason. Mas mahadlok pa sila sa dakop kaysa sa ilang safety maong mapugos sila suot og helmet. So next, we have Law on Transportation of Animals. Republic Act 8485, also known as the Animal Welfare Act of 1998, mandates public utility operators to provide clean, sanitary facilities for pets, wildlife, and other animals during transit, ensuring sufficient food and water. For example, in the case of a public transportation company that operates a bus service, they must have designated areas within the bus where animals can be safely accommodated, and these areas should be kept clean and sanitary with appropriate measures in place to prevent the animals from escaping or causing harm to passengers. Additionally, the company must ensure that there is a sufficient supply of food and water available for the animals throughout the duration of the journey. So next, we have Law on Importation of Vehicles. Republic Act 7227 allows the free flow of goods and capital within the Subic Bay Free Port in Subic, province of Zambales, in order to attract investors to invest their capitals in business climate with the least government intervention. So, Republic Act 7227 helps Subic Bay Free Port attract investors by making it easier to do business there. It removes taxes on imported goods, simplifies rules, invests in infrastructure, offers tax breaks, and allows businesses more freedom. This helps businesses thrive and grow in the area. Next, we have Public Service Law. Public service in the Philippines include individuals operating or managing various transportation systems, including carriers, railroads, and shipyards for hire or compensation. Unless exempt, no service must have a certificate of public convenience or necessity. So, what's included? Public service involves running transportation services that people can use for a fee. This includes things like buses, trains, and shipyards, where people pay to use the services provided. So, for the certificate requirement, most transportation services need to have a certificate called a Certificate of Public Convenience or Necessity unless they are exempt. This certificate ensures that the service meets certain standards and is allowed to operate legally. So we have the last topic, the traffic laws. Republic Act No. 4136, which is enacted on June 20, 1964, is a compilation of laws relative to traffic rules and regulations. So number 1, we have registration of motor vehicles. This involves the legal process of officially recording and documenting motor vehicles with the appropriate government authorities. It ensures that vehicles on the road are properly identified and comply with safety and environmental standards. So aron dili ka kolorom nga maglaag-laag, dapat registered ng imong motor and also dapat naa kay license. Next is restriction as to speed. This refers to the established limits on how fast vehicles can travel on different types of road. Speed limits are set to enhance road safety and reduce the risk of accidents. Number 3, we have restrictions on overtaking and passing. So, these rules dictate when and how drivers can overtake or pass over vehicles on the road, promoting safe and orderly traffic flow. Next, we have right-of-way. Right-of-way specifies which vehicle or pedestrian has the legal right to proceed first in a particular situation, helping prevent conflicts and ensuring smooth traffic movement. Number 5, we have parking prohibition. It outlines areas where parking is not allowed to prevent traffic congestion and ensure the safety of both drivers and pedestrians. So number 6, we have driving or parking on sidewalk. Prohibits the use of sidewalks for driving or parking, preserving these areas for pedestrians. Next, we have driving and substance intake. Addresses regulations related to driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs, emphasizing the importance of sober and focused driving. So number 8, we have obstruction of traffic. Prohibits actions that impede the normal flow of traffic, ensuring smooth movement on roads. Number 9, we have duty of driver during an accident. Outlines the responsibilities of drivers involved in accidents, including reporting the incidents to authorities and providing assistance to those in need. Conclusion. In conclusion, laws, regulation, transportation establishments such as Republic Act No. 4136 in the Philippines play a vital role in ensuring the safe, orderly, and efficient movement of vehicles and pedestrians. By providing a legal framework and standards, these laws contribute to road safety, prevent traffic congestions, and facilitate the smooth functioning of transportation systems. Compliance with these regulations is essential for creating a secure and well-organized environment on roads and highways. And that's it for my report. I hope I deliver it well. Thank you for watching, and once again, I am Guadalquiver, the reporter. Have a great day ahead.